Guys, I really think that, besides Barry Scarborough's dogs, Kipper and Carly, I think I have the best watchdog uh, on the block, man. I mean, check out Hannah. She's always attentive. She's always on the lookout. I mean, an amoeba can't crawl on dog spit without her finding it. I mean, that girl, she knows. She's what we call, for those of you who like to hunt, she's a hot nose. I mean, that girl can trace. I promise you, if my twin sister Charlotte walked through the yard 4 days ago, she will follow her very trail. It's just so strange. Like, I'll just mention her name and she'll just start, like hunting for her. And, she's got a, in a way, it seems like, and I know that the scripture reveals this too. It says that all of creation groans together for the manifestations of the sons of God to be glorified. And guys, it's the time that we're awaiting now. And it says even ourselves groan within ourselves with utterings of the Spirit. I mean, it can't really be said. And it's just, I came out here about a week and a half ago and I did a short video, and it was at 1 o'clock in the morning, and it was the strangest night really that I've ever seen. I've never seen anything quite like that. I've seen the quiet before the storm, things like that, where the leaves have a tendency to flip upside down and, it's going to rain. But guys, this wasn't like it was rain. I mean, there was no clouds in the sky. You could see pretty much all the stars. And it was about 1 o'clock in the morning. There were no crickets, no frogs. Now, come on, guys. At the end of May in Kentucky, that does not happen. And also, it looked like the trees themselves were holding their breath. I thought, well, we're either going to have a big earthquake, a huge storm, which, of course, Ohio did get a lot of tornadoes several days after that. But guys, this was different. It was like, and I don't think it's wishful thinking on my part. I truly have never seen nature stand at that kind of attention and reverence, and almost as if it was holding its breath. And I have to say, I've had Hannah now for over 3 years. And some of you all may know I had a little Chihuahua, and he was 12 years old, and his name was Poom. Poom with a P as in Paul. Kind of like you're saying boom, but it's Poom, and that was his name. And little Poom loved his mama, and he was my little faithful companion for so long. And it broke my heart. It did. And my neighbor, I think she was worried about me or something. She, only about 2 or 3 weeks after Poom died, she said, look, let's go just look at some dogs at the shelter. Let's go look. And I'm like, I just can't. I can't. My heart, I just can't. And, she pretty much hog-tied me and put me in the car, and Alex jumped in the back seat, and they kind of just, I don't know, it was like a forced intervention or something. They took me down to the animal shelter, and just then, as we were pulling up, I heard the Lord say, you'll know it will be in the eyes. And I promise you, I stepped in that place with not much other than a word. And I was trying to come around to a place of hope. And I looked down through the shelter, and I saw at the very end, every dog was barking. They were all trying to get my attention. They were barking and trying to do their best little show. And there were many cute ones, but I saw a silent one at the end. And she looked at me, like poked her head around the side, and let me get a good look at those big, deep, soft brown eyes. And I knew it was her. It looked just like my little Poom, except bigger. Just like him. I mean, even so to where people have taken a close-up of her face before, where I couldn't show the size of the dog, where I didn't see it. And in the beginning, especially when she was younger, like a pup, that first year, it fooled me. I was like, well, how did they get a picture of Poom? I didn't think I released any of those. They said, Kim, that's Hannah. I'm like, no. And it's just even more confirmation that she'd had her legs ripped off, and she looked a mess. No one else would have taken her, I'm sure. She'd been used as a bait dog, and they'd ripped off her arms and legs, and they barely got them stitched back on. And she has sort of an almost feline way of walking, but boy, is she fast as a greyhound, guys. She is. And the Lord knew what he was doing. He always does if we're only listening. And I hope this means something to someone out there today, that maybe sometimes the animals are a little brighter than we give them credit for. And maybe they feel some of the things that we're so in tune to. Oh, I'm hungry. Let's go eat. I'm tired. Let's sleep. Or planning our lives, that we get involved in the cares of this world, and we don't always see the things that they do. But hopefully some other people are waking up to know that these things are true, that these are our days to watch, that the Lord's return has to be soon because of the things that we see happening in front of us that line up perfectly with Scripture. And there is nothing more that needs to be fulfilled before that trumpet sounds, guys. So let this encourage you today, and maybe some of you guys have a similar story that you could tell. I love your all stories. On my last video, I thought that I was telling a story that was somewhat unique to me, even though I've heard it 3 or 4 times over the years. I've heard other believers say that they felt like that they were led to know when they were a child, or told when they were young, that they wouldn't live to ever taste death or see a very old age. And it was about the coming of Christ, that they would be that generation. And in your all's comments on that last video of mine, when I revealed that story, it was unreal, guys. I mean, so many people in their 60s, 70s, 80s, 50s, whatever, were told this. We were all told this 30, 40, 50 years ago. And we know who speaks to us. And it's amazing how many people have held that in their hearts all these years. Maybe they've told a select group of people. Maybe they're just telling it now for such a time as this. But either way, guys, that's the way the Lord works. And it's he's long suffering, and he starts warning us way far in advance, and he starts telling us of blessings way far in advance. So, and he wrote it in his word, and much of that was written thousands of years ago, so that we know when it lines up with his word and it doesn't contradict it, that it's the truth. Jesus said, and what I say to you, I say to all, watch. Well, watch this, guys. We're about ready to get out of here. I love you, and I'm sure we'll talk real soon.